Good afternoon. If you can hear me, please give the hands up. And if you can see me, please give the hands up or see the screen.
I have a couple.
If you can hear me and if you can see the screen, can you do the hands up, please? Okay, so we are going to get started. So thank you for joining us for this EEF Zoom meeting. We hope that this presentation will provide some clarity and guidance around EEF and the application process. I'm going to introduce the team in the room. We have here Kenya Jenkins, Randy Littleton, Tanya Johnson, and myself. My name is Julia DeSimone. A little bit of housekeeping. Please place all questions in the chat box. We will address all of the questions at the end of the presentation. And the presentation will be posted on the eGMS login page by the end of this week. Okay, so let's get started. So today we'll be focusing on two things. First, how to access the eGrants Management System, or eGMS, and how to complete your Education Excellence Fund application using eGMS. So we'll begin with eGMS, just guiding you through the basics of getting started, and then we'll walk you through all of the components of the EEF application. Again, please hold all questions until the end of the presentation or place them in the chat box. So there are three required components that must be in place in order to access eGMS: a DUNS number, a SAM expiration date, and an eGMS security request form. So right now we're going to be looking at the security request. So all school systems should have an assigned security coordinator. If an individual needs to access, they should contact their security coordinator. To find out who your security coordinator contact is, going to click on the Forgot Password page, Forgot Password link on the eGMS homepage. This will prompt you to the password reset system. You will then click on the drop-down menu and select your site. You will then select Help. Your security coordinator's name and contact information will then appear on the right in the yellow box. All school districts and charters will have to request access from their security coordinator listed in that yellow box from the previous slide. Once you receive your credentials, you will log in and change your temporary password. Your password expires every 30 days. After 3 failed attempts, your account will be locked and you will need to request an unlock from your security coordinator. At this time, all districts and charters should have completed their central data and SAM and DUNS information. If you have additional questions or you need additional help, you can reach out to the Grant Management Help Desk at this email provided here. And like we said, this presentation will be posted, so if you need to reference that, you will be able to later this week. So to access the eGMS system, one way to do that is through the department's website at louisianabelieves.com. You'll click Funding at the top of the right ribbon. At the bottom of the page under Grants Management, you'll click eGMS. You can bookmark this or save it as a shortcut to make accessing it easier. So on this homepage here, you'll enter your username and your password to log in. Once you've logged in, this main menu page shows that you have been given access to the security by the security administrator. These are all the different pages here that you have access to. You'll click on this circled area, GMS Access Select. For those entities that have not created their central data, there are 3 items in the LEA Central Data that you will need to complete before you can create your EEF application. You will need to go to Central Data and click on Create if you have not created your central data, or you will click Open if you have created your central data but need to make changes to it. For those entities that have completed all items in the central data, you will proceed to ensure that the EEF assurances have been completed. So first is the contact information. Click on Central Contacts and complete the required information. Contact information will be needed on the administrative offices, the superintendent, and the business manager. Next, go over here and click on Formula Contacts and EEF Program Contact and complete the required information. You must complete this step in order to create your EEF application. Be sure to save the page when you're done. If you don't save the page, all of the information that you entered will be lost. The third requirement is the assurances. Click on the Assurances tab and complete the Common Assurances and the EEF Program Assurances. You must complete this step in order to create your EEF application. Again, be sure to save the page when you're done so you don't lose the information that you just entered. Once you have provided the contact information, the assurances, and DUNS and SAM information, you are now ready to create your EEF application. So you're going to go back to the GMS Access Select page and click on Education Excellence Fund. It should appear under Formula Grants. If it does not appear, return to the LEA Central Data that we just walked through to make sure that you have provided the LEA Central Data information, the EEF contact information, and the EEF assurances. If you do see it under Formula Grants, then click Create. Once you click Create, your application will automatically open. So an overview of EEF funds. EEF is commonly known in the education arena as tobacco money. That's because initial funding for EEF came from proceeds from a legal settlement with the tobacco industry. Disposition of the funds was written into law in 1999 as part of the Louisiana Revised Statute, Section 39, which established the Millennium Trust Fund. EEF is a component of the Millennium Trust Fund. So a little bit about the money. EEF funds never expire. Unspent funds can carry over to the following year. Recipients can choose to either apply for all funds available, apply for only some of the funds available, or they can choose not to apply for any of the funds and can allow those funds to roll over to the following year. So for the use of funds, once the legislature approves the applications, recipients are paid the full amount upfront. So there's no reimbursement requests required, but there is one final periodic expenditure report, PER, also referred to as the 630 PER, which is also required. Recipients can expend EEF funds throughout the year on the activities described in their plans, and only what's in their plans. So for some program requirements, EEF funds must be used to provide instructional enhancement for pre-K through 12th grade students. These enhancements can include early childhood education programs focused on enhancing the preparation of at-risk, remedial instruction and assistance to children who fail to achieve required scores on any tests required for advancement to a succeeding grade, or other educational programs approved by the legislature. Some acceptable uses of EEF funds are benchmark assessments, curriculum development and alignment, early childhood, educational technology, family involvement, instructional supplies, teacher quality, positive behavior support, and also remediation. The Millennium Trust Fund legislation clearly states what the funds cannot be used for, and that includes expenditures for maintenance or renovation of buildings, capital improvements, increases in employees' salaries, supplanting any state general fund or locally generated revenue, and sectarian or religious purposes. So to look at the big picture, recipients will log into eGMS to create, complete, and submit their applications. LDOE staff reviews completed applications and submits requests to the legislature for approval of applications. Legislature approves release of EEF funds to recipients. Then the LDOE informs recipients that their applications have received final approval and makes payments directly to recipients for amount requested. Then the recipients carry out activities, and the recipients report on those activities in the following year's application using the evaluation report form, which can be found in eGMS. So now we're going to look at the EEF application. On the GMS Access Select page, look under Formula Grants and open Education Excellence Fund. So parts of the EEF application include the Allocations Tab, Program Specific, which includes the Expenditure Plan and the Evaluation Report, and then also the budget pages, which includes the budget detail and the budget summary. All three sections of the EEF application must be completed before it can be submitted to the department. Under the Allocations tab, if the allocation shows a cash on hand amount, then a budget must be submitted. For school districts only, enter a desired amount to transfer from Treasury investment into regular EEF account. If EEF funds will not be used, then click on the checkbox only once. If EEF funds will not be used, you have to enter a reason. Please remember to review all amounts on the allocations page and contact the LDOE Grants Management Help Desk or the designated EEF contacts. So each recipient must submit a plan that outlines how they will use their EEF funds for the school year. The plan should include performance expectations to ensure accountability in the expenditure of such funds. All applicants will describe how EEF funds will be used to support the LEA's priorities in one or more of the following areas: curriculum or professional development or assessments, workforce, early childhood, college and career pathways, special education, school improvement, and direct student services. So the evaluation report is completed by applicants to report how prior year budgeted EEF funds were used. You must complete an evaluation report if you're choosing to apply for EEF funds in the current year. You may also upload supporting information, but this is optional. So if the recipient has cash on hand from the previous year, an evaluation report must be submitted in the current application. If the recipient will be using funds in the current year, then an evaluation report must be submitted in the following year's application. Looking at the EEF budget, the items in the budget must be in alignment with the expenditure plan or narrative. If purchasing computers or iPads or laptops, please include the per unit cost and total number. And then please make sure to use the correct EIC codes when developing your budget. So when it comes time to submit your application, review the application for completeness and accuracy. Go to the Submit tab. You're going to run the consistency check and fix any errors if there are any, and then you will submit the application. The consistency check must be successfully processed before you can submit the application. So just to run through a tentative timeline of what this would look like, early to mid-October of this year, the LDOE opens the EEF application period. Late October of this year, applicants prepare and submit applications. and they also go through the final corrections and reviews. In November, the LDOE prepares EEF recommendations for the legislature. December of this year to January of next year, legislature approves allocations. In February and March of 2020, the LDOE allocates EEF funds directly to the applicants. And on Wednesday, July 15th, that is when the 630 per is due, but you may submit your 630 per as soon as you expend the funds. You don't have to wait until July 15th to submit that per. So here is the EEF contacts for the EEF team, Tanya Johnson, myself, Julia DeSimone. You're also able to submit questions to the Grants Management Help Desk. If you have any questions, you can feel free to place those in the chat box now and we can start going through them. So a copy of the slide deck will be posted on the eGMS homepage by the end of this week. And we will let you know when the application is open. We also recommend that you check the newsletters for all of the most up-to-date information, which we'll also send out. You can also check the eGMS logon page, and we'll also be updating the information there as well. All right, so we'll wait a couple more minutes to see if anyone else has any questions. Okay, so if no one has any more questions at this time, we're going to end the session here. If you think of a question later on, please feel free to reach out to Tanya, myself, or the Grants Help Desk. Thank you so much for being here with us today.